Welcome to Elselah Books Podcast. Today, we're going to explore something pretty profound, the idea of family as a generational blueprint. We're basing this on Christian teachings about its real purpose, its structure, and the legacy it leaves behind. So here's how we're going to tackle this. We'll start with the foundational principles, then we'll get into the core relationships and practices, and we'll wrap up with the powerful long-term impact.
Okay, let's dive right in. So the source material establishes the purpose of the family through some really key scriptures, and it presents it as not just, a social unit, but as a divine plan for passing on values from one generation to the next.
This whole idea actually goes way back to Abraham. According to the text, he was chosen for a very specific reason, to direct his children and his household. This really sets the precedent that parental guidance is a core, fundamental function of the family.
Building on that, the teachings from Moses frame this guidance as, something much more than just a one-time lecture. It's meant to be a constant conversation. The idea here is to weave these principles right into the fabric of daily life, so they become a totally natural and continuous part of the family dynamic.
And this is where we see the core mission really spelled out. The whole idea is that faith and the knowledge of God's deeds should be intentionally and openly passed from one generation to the next. No hiding it, but proclaiming it.
So, with that foundation in place, let's see how this blueprint helps build the family's internal framework. According to the source, the real power, the thing at the very center of all these relationships, is love.
This definition from 1 Corinthians, it basically acts as the guiding principle. It's all about a selfless, patient kindness that supports the entire family structure. You could almost think of it as the operating system for all family interactions.
And from that foundation of love, the source outlines what it calls complementary roles. The big emphasis is on a husband's selfless love and responsibility, while at the same time highlighting a wife's position as a respected, equal partner in life. The central theme here really is mutual honor and partnership.
So, the big question is, how do you actually put this blueprint into practice, day to day? Well, the source highlights one central activity. It's called the family altar.
Now, when you hear altar, you might be thinking of a piece of furniture, right? But that's not what this is about. It's a consistent, dedicated time for shared faith. The text actually compares the effect of this practice to iron sharpening iron, that idea of a mutual strengthening and refining process within the family.
And its purpose is, it does a few things at once. It's a time for worship, it's a school for children, it's a source of spiritual strength for facing life's challenges, and it's a powerful force for unity, especially when things get tough.
Now, what I think is really interesting here is how the source material addresses a very practical concern. How do you keep this from becoming a boring chore? It gives some really concrete tips to make it a vital, even happy family activity. It's all about participation, discussion, and using methods that actually work for different ages. This brings us to our final section, and honestly, this is probably the most dramatic part of this whole explainer, the long-term legacy. The source illustrates this with a seriously powerful case study. The central idea here is something called the 5-generation rule. And just think about that for a second. The concept that a family's values and teachings create these ripples that stretch far, far into the future, shaping lives for a century or even more. Okay, so let's look at the example. First, you have the legacy of Jonathan Edwards. He was a Puritan preacher back in the 1700s, and a study of his descendants, cited in the source, found this absolutely incredible number of societal leaders and accomplished professionals. Now hold that thought. In stark contrast, look at the legacy of a man known as Max Jukes, who lived around the same time as Edwards. A study of his family tree revealed this deeply troubling legacy of crime, poverty, and tragedy that just echoed down through the generations. So when you put those two stories side by side, the crucial point the source is making becomes crystal clear, and it's a powerful one. The argument is that the way you live your life, the values you build your home on, directly shapes the tangible inheritance of your future generations. And that leaves us with the final question to think about in our own lives, doesn't it? It's a powerful reminder that our choices really do have echoes.
Thank you for listening, and do subscribe to our channel for more. Try reading this in Bible. Be blessed.